It's time for another tale from the glass-guarded world, with Brian as Paxton, the human cleric, Ashley as Tara Dane, the human fighter, Andy as Finn Mac Caspinner, the gnome wizard, and me, Mike, as the DM. Plus, in today's episode, a new friend. In the previous episode, Tara and Finn freed Paxton from the grip of a cursed sword, with the help of some dwarves. They made their way to New Tower, a town near the bridge that crosses the Broken River. Paxton stayed the night in an older, inexpensive inn, while Finn and Tara stayed at a newer, fancier inn that caters to wizards associated with the magistracy. The next morning, Finn went to the Wizard Tower library to study, while Tara and Paxton made their way to the lake below the Broken River. There they saw with their own eyes the changes that the breaking of the Gods River had wrought upon the landscape. It's the 9th of 6th month, 2007. Last night you arrived in New Tower, arranged lodgings, and settled in. Paxton spent some time with a local drunk, and Tara and Finn talked to locals and were accosted by thugs, apparently led by the mysterious gray-cloaked person who has been following you. We ended with Paxton and Tara taking a morning hike to the dead lake, which the Broken River pours into from out of the sky, while Finn spent his morning doing some spell research at the Tower Library. Tara and Paxton, you can see this giant valley which once held an enormous lake stretching in every direction. Behind you to the east over some hills is the town of New Tower. The water spurts from the wall high above you and makes a distant loud booming noise when it hits the remaining lake. There is still a lake here, though its water level is much lower than it once was. The water is brown and black. Looking out to the northwest at the lake, you can see a tall island of rock jutting out of the lake. There are some old stone buildings on top of it. Based on the height of the island and the location of the buildings, you would estimate the lake's water level has fallen nearly 90 feet. There is very little visible vegetation, just an occasional outcropping of weeds or a patch of grass. Otherwise, it's just mud and rock, with occasional signs of erosion and landslides. The sky was mostly clear last night, but it has become cloudier this morning, and a cool wind has begun to blow from the direction of the western wall. Despite the fact that the world is flat, you cannot see the other side of the lake from here. There is too much mist and dust blowing in the wind. The other side must be many miles away. Aside from the island, which is about a half mile from the shore, the only other thing that stands out is a black oval object about 30 feet up from the water's edge. What would Tara and Paxton like to do?
I'm gonna go inspect the oval object.
Okay. You walk down to the object, the black object. It is a rowboat with a thick coat of black paint, which has begun to peel, maybe recently. It is tied to a large rock by a moldy-looking rope that looks like it's been there for a long time. 2 oars lie inside the dinghy. There is a bit of black canvas tarp with some tent pegs lying on the bottom of the boat, but the tarp has begun to rot. There are traces of a trail for when the boat was towed out of the water and up the shore to this rock, but most of them have been erased by time. The remaining traces point straight toward the island of rock. And with that, we're going to cut to Finn. Finn is studying in the library of the town's Wizard Tower. He has learned that the head wizard and town leader is an elven wizard named Florelia. Because Finn was trained in the official magistracy-approved Academy of Magic, or an official magistracy-approved Academy of Magic, he has the right to visit and make use of magistracy library facilities, including some access to spell scrolls. Finn, you're making good progress on picking up a new spell, when the door opens quietly, and the fellow in a gray cloak who has been following you for weeks enters the room. He walks up to you, pulls out a chair from your table, and sits down, and says, "We need to have a talk." Back to Tara and Paxton. You are by this boat that has at some point in the past been dragged up out of the water and is just sitting here.
So the canvas is rotted, but does the boat look like it is still in seaworthy condition?
Yeah, it's in decent shape.
And it can hold 2 people?
Yes, it could probably hold 3 or 4 even.
I call Paxton over. I'm going to sail this to the island. Do you want to come?
Definitely.
All right. So I'm going to cut that rope with my sword.
Okay.
And I'll tell him to get in and I'll push him out before I push myself in.
So you push the boat down to the water, and then you climb in, and who's going to do the rowing?
I suppose I can.
I can row. I'm strong.
All right, fine. If you want to row, I'll let you take a shot at it.
Yes.
All right.
Just let me know if you get tired.
Wow.
Yes. I think she could probably bench press you. All right. You start to row out toward the island, and as you're rowing, you feel a bump from underneath the boat. You're not far out from the land, and you feel a bump, a nudge of some kind under the boat. But maybe you just hit a stump or a rock or something like that. But as you continue moving out, Paxton, you think you see something moving in the water. Something maybe grayish, brownish, moving beneath the surface.
Can I do a perception or an insight check
Sure.
to try to focus on what it is?
Your perception bonus is 3. Or actually, you're doing insight. You've already spotted it with your passive perception.
Yeah, my insight is +5 apparently.
Oh, okay. I need to fix that.
It's my wisdom, and I think I'm
Your
proficient in it
investigation
as well.
bonus is... Your investigation bonus is 5?
His insight.
Insight.
I'm sorry, insight. Oh, insight is for talking to people.
Okay, investigation is 2.
Okay. You look more closely at the water, and you're not exactly sure what you're seeing, but something with long, spiky, hair-like projections is moving under the water around the boat. In fact, you think there are several of them. They are bigger than the boat.
Uh-oh.
And eventually they start bumping into the boat more frequently. Now you're continuing to row, and you're making pretty good time. But they are bumping your boat, and I would like each of you to make a dexterity check.
All right. 11.
5.
All right. Well, you
Someone's
got
falling
lucky
in the
because
water.
this was a DC 5 check. All right. And you do not get knocked out of the boat. It's not too hard to stay in the boat. You're sitting, and they're not tipping it over, but they are bumping the boat. They're jostling the boat enough that if you were really unlucky, you might fall out. Nonetheless, you continue to row toward the island. Paxton, as you're approaching the island, you notice movement at the top of the island. It looks like someone is jumping up and down and waving at you and probably shouting, though you can't hear them at this distance. And as you get closer, you realize this is a person, and it's pretty short. A pretty short person, possibly a halfling or a gnome. Tara, you continue to row. I'd like you to make another dex check.
Both of us or just
Both
Tara?
of you.
5.
18.
I think maybe Paxton is helping Tara refrain from falling out of the boat, but you are still in the boat. As you get closer, you can see that the person on the island is letting down a long rope and gesturing for you to come over and climb up it. And once again, you're almost there, but now you can see that these things are no longer messing around. In fact, you can get a better look at them. There are these long oval or oblong, grayish, brownish, hairy shapes, and they have a groove on one side of them, and they sort of suck water into it. And when they bump into the boat, some part of them comes out of the water, and you notice that looks like they're trying to suck the boat into this groove on the side of them, but it doesn't quite fit. But they're trying. It looks like they're trying to suck in the boat, or possibly knock you out of the boat and suck you in. You suspect that's what would happen if you fell out of the boat.
Can I do a nature check?
Sure. What's your nature bonus?
+4.
You've never heard of such a thing. You're pretty sure this is... Whatever this is not something that you've heard of before, and it is not a normal creature that one would expect to experience in the world. They are still bumping against the boat, so this is your last dex check.
I'm going to really roll this one.
3.
Oh, God. I got a 7.
13.
All right, you both managed to get to the rope. Now, you can hear this person on the island. They're shouting something down to you. Now, this island, as I said, is about 90 feet up of rock. It's quite a distance out away from the water. But this person is shouting something to you about tying the rope to the boat and then climbing up. Oh, and something about don't drop the oars.
Okay.
All right, so you tie up the boat and you begin to climb. All right, we'll do our climb checks in a moment, but first we're going to cut to Finn. So Finn, the man takes off his gray cloak, revealing fine wizard's robes underneath. He has a large tattoo on his right hand depicting dancing flames, and the tattoo flickers as you look at it. We need to have a talk. I need to know what you and your friend are doing here. We will take turns. I will start off by telling you something about me. Then it is your turn. Agreed?
Of course, go ahead.
My name is Atolf. I work for the Keepers of Arcane Knowledge. Some things are secret and need to stay secret. I keep them that way. Now, your turn. I already know that you and Tara Dane, I don't know how to pronounce it, are from a rival. And you are here investigating something. What else can you tell me?
Well, you went ahead and told me something without being prompted, so I'll be happy to answer your question, but from now on, I'll ask a question and you answer it, and then from there, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. We're here in town mostly to look around. As of late, the issues with the river have caused issues for her trading family, so we use that as a reason for us to be able to come through and investigate. Now, I do know that you know that we came from a rival, and I know that you're here mostly trying to keep things secret, or whatever needs to stay secret. I won't ask you much further beyond that, but why did you go ahead and get interested in us right away? You have been following us for days, nearly a month now, and if your job is general secrecy, you've not been very good at that.
It's not myself I'm trying to keep secret. I was warned that 2 people from a rival with powerful friends were coming to investigate something in the Magistracy territory. My job was to find out what they wanted to know and make sure that secret things stay secret. Does that answer your question?
Yes, do you have any more?
What exactly do you want to know about the river?
Well, we have different reasons and different goals each. My personal reason was mostly to come help Tara. I feel indebted to her family and that I need to help her, and we've been friends for a long time, so I'm here mostly for her. Now, you said that you were waiting for people from a rival that were coming with powerful friends to look into a secret in the Magistracy. How do you know that we are those people, and more importantly, who told you to be looking out for us?
The Keepers of Arcane Knowledge have eyes and ears everywhere. They know what is going on, and they know it is you.
So your answer to my question is that the Keepers were the one to tell you to keep an eye on us, correct?
That is correct. That is my job. So far, you have not done anything dangerous or threatening, and you seem like good people.
Do you have any more questions?
So is that what you are interested in then, the river? If that is true, you are probably going to be disappointed. Many people have tried to find out why the river is dying. No one knows. If I knew, I would tell you. But maybe there is someone who can help you. Someone who knows more than anyone else. His name is Mun. And we will cut to Tara and Paxton.
Okay, I have a Dungeoneers pack, so that means I have a hammer and some climbing spikes.
Ah.
So I'm gonna take those out because
you can climb with advantage.
Yeah, it feels like I'm gonna need those.
So
I also have a rope in my pack.
Uh-huh.
So I would like to try and use that to extra secure the boat because I feel like that's going to be important, as well as the oars.
Good idea. You extra tie up the boat and you tie the oars to the boat, I suppose. All right. I need you to make 3 climb checks with advantage.
Okay.
What would a climbing check be?
Athletics.
And does Paxton have like a hammer at least? Because I can give him some of my spikes.
I have an explorer's pack. I assume that would have what are they called? Pittons.
Let's see.
The shoe spikes.
Compendium rules. In an explorer's pack.
It does not.
Nope, it doesn't.
No, it does not have any climbing equipment.
That's fine. I think I can climb a rope.
Now, because you've got a rope, you're not trying to climb the sheer cliff. If you do slip, I'll give you a dex check to give you a chance to grab on.
Okay.
Tara, go ahead and make your climbing checks.
Okay, that's strength.
Yep. So for the first 30 feet.
I got a nat 20.
All right. She rockets up the cliff. Next 30 feet.
This time I got a 9.
Ah, all right. I need you to make a dex check.
Wait.
Okay, but I'm climbing with advantage, so I roll again?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you only rolled. I thought that was the best of your 2 rolls.
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, just go ahead and roll 2 and tell me which one's the higher.
Just kidding. The 9 was better.
Okay. Make a dex check.
Oh, God. I got a 6.
Can I
no, I'm
try
sorry,
to
that's a
catch her
4.
as she slips down?
I'll let you try to make a dex check to grab her, sure.
Okay.
Otherwise, she falls in the water.
9.
All right, she falls in the water. You're wearing chainmail, right?
Indeed.
Okay. This is going to be tricky. There's still a creature flopping around in the water near the boat. We're going to roll initiative.
All right. I got a 14.
Nat 20.
It got a 1.
It loses a turn.
Paxton,
Mm-hmm.
she has fallen in the water right next to the boat.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do?
Are the oars tied to the boat, or are we carrying the oars?
They're tied to the boat.
Okay. I want to grab one of the oars and maybe extend it down to her so that she could grab it and pull her back up out of the water.
All right, that's easy enough to do. You don't need to roll anything for that. He extends an oar to you, and you can reach it. I'd like you to make a strength check with advantage. He's going to help you get pulled back into the boat.
Okay, I got a 21.
All right, you are back in the boat. You are wet, and the water smells bad, and you're kind of dirty. But you are back in the boat, and the creature sort of lunges at the area where you were and sucks in some water there. And you can see now it's covered in these long, spiky hairs that it sort of pushes around it to move through the water. But you are back in the boat.
I feel good. I'm wondering if I should take my armor off or use it because I feel very safe with it on.
Do you want to try again?
Yes, I am going to try
All right.
again.
Go ahead. You didn't take any damage from falling in the water, by the way.
All right, that's 22.
You climb 30 feet. Do you want to do the next 30 feet? Or you could just stop there, I suppose.
No, I would continue.
All right.
12.
All right, that's good enough. You climb the next 30 feet, then the last 30 feet, and you can see, looks like a halfling, eagerly looking over the cliff down at you.
All right, me or Paxton.
You've got one more roll to make. Did you make it?
Well, let me try.
All right.
15.
All right, good. You make it. And at the same time, Paxton is climbing, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so go ahead and make your first check.
All right. First roll is, oh God, 6.
All right, so this is your first roll. So basically, you climb a few feet up the rope, and you just can't get started.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want, you can start over again. You can try again.
Yeah, I start over again. Much more determined.
All right.
And maybe with advantage.
No, unless she can lower her equipment down to you.
All right. Let's see. 7.
All right, Paxton can't seem to get started, so he's down there in the boat. In any case, you climb up, Tara. So you reach the top, finally, exhausted after having climbed 90 feet. Standing before you is a halfling woman, about 30 inches tall, with tan skin, brown hair, and brown eyes. Her robes suggest some kind of religious order, though they are worn through and probably won't last much longer. She appears to have gathered all her belongings and has a pack and supplies waiting near the rope. And she looks you over and says,
Hey there! I'm so glad you made it. My name is Appleflat. What's your name?
Hi, Appleflat. Oh, I'm Tara, but what are those? As I point down.
You have to be careful with those. Those are the angry blobs. They're hairy and they try to eat you. I learned that the hard way. I've been trying to escape this island for some time.
and welcome everyone, please, Danielle, to the podcast.
Hello.
Hello, Danielle.
Hi.
All right, so Athelflad, well, do you have any suggestions for how we can get Paxton up the rope here? He seems he's down there struggling mightily, but his armor and his shield, it seems to be just too much weight for him to pull himself up easily. So he's down there in this boat that's getting jostled. Any suggestions?
We could toss the rope closer to his shield, possibly tie his shield to it, pull up his...
Pull him up by his shield?
Yeah, one by one.
It does attach to his back, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Attaches to his arm. All right. Well, why don't you try that? All right. So you toss a rope down. I'm going to let you make a, let's say an intelligence check to tie it on firmly.
That's an intelligence check for me to tie it to myself?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Oh my God. Natural 1.
All right. So he says, all right, pull me up. And you guys begin pulling him up and it immediately lets go and he falls in the water.
Oh no.
However, you're right next to the boat. So I'm going to go with the previous initiative and say, make a strength check to haul yourself into the boat.
All right. If this doesn't work out, I'm going to have to get some new dice. Seriously, another natural 1.
All right, so he is floundering in the water, and the creature makes an attack on you, and it strikes you. No, actually, yes, it does, because your shield is strapped to your back. It strikes you. It attempts to grapple you with these hairs on it, and for this round, I need you to make a opposed grapple check.
All right, so strength.
Yes.
Okay, a little bit better. That's a 13.
No, it has grabbed you, and you are being moved toward its digestive canal.
Okay.
All right, and now it is your turn again, unless you guys want to do something.
Athelflad, I look at her. You got like a magic or like an arrow or?
Now, Athelflad, you do know there is one thing that these things don't like.
Oh yeah, I've learned that they don't like fire. They don't like fire. I've tried to build a boat from wood and set it on fire on a stick and they seem to run away from that.
Do you have a campfire around?
Yeah, we can go light up a stick or something. You can lower me down. It'd probably make more sense for me to go down there and maybe I can scare them away.
All right, so you guys go to look for some kindling. Is that what you're doing?
The only other option is I throw a hand axe at it. And
Okay.
I don't know how well that would go
At
90 feet down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's difficult. All right, so Paxton, we're back to you. What do you want to do?
I want to do an unarmed strike, and I'm inside of its jaws now.
No, it doesn't have jaws. It just has this weird groove on the side of it.
And
you're being like carried along by these hairs toward that opening.
I want to punch it.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so
You can actually take your action if you want to try to break the grapple. If you'd rather do that.
yeah, that's probably a smarter move. I'm gonna try to break the grapple.
Okay.
Don't let me down, dice.
Not one.
No, it's a 4. It's
All right.
I'm guessing 6 does not break the grapple.
No, I'm afraid that you continue to be carried toward its intake canal. You guys grab some nearby firewood and run to the side of the cliff, and at the same time, the creature begins digesting Paxton's feet.
Oh no! Do we have to do a survival check to?
To start a fire?
If we're successful and.
Yeah, then you can start a fire really quickly, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to let the monster go, and then you can do that. So, Paxton, you take 2 points of acid damage.
Okay.
It burns.
You guys make a survival check. I'll let you both make survival checks. You're both trying to start fires.
I have a tinderbox. Does that help?
Yep, that actually would give you advantage, I think.
All right. So, is there a bonus to that?
No.
I got an 11.
I got an 11 too.
All right, well, you guys, that's fine. It's not a high difficulty check to start a fire, especially if you have the right equipment. So you start a fire. You've got some wood on fire here. Now what are you going to do?
Okay. I will try to tie the rope to Athelflad.
All right, so you spend the rest of the round tying the rope to Athelflad.
I got a nat 20 tying the rope to
All
her.
right, it is securely tied. And Paxton, we're back to you. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna keep trying to break that grapple.
Okay.
6.
All right, I'm afraid you were not able to break free. And now the creature again continues with digesting you. You take 1 point of damage, and it's working its way up to your shins now. You guys go ahead and go.
Oh, okay. So I do we have to do a strength check or athletic check?
To climb down is relatively easy, especially if she can lower you down on a
Okay.
rope. So I'm not going to worry about that. I think that getting down is going to be relatively easy. So let's not worry about that.
Okay.
And you can go down pretty quickly too. So you're being lowered down with a burning stick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I get down to shore.
You get down
Successfully?
get down to the boat. Yes.
I run towards the boat with the.
Well, there's no shore. There's just the boat right next to the rocks. There's
Oh,
no
okay.
shore to speak of.
Oh, okay.
So you actually are lowered
drop
into
down,
the boat.
And I start waving the fire towards the big hairy blob.
All
And I
right.
start screaming and I try to reach out my hand,
Okay.
even though I know that it would probably be a lost cause to carry both of us
Okay.
up the rope.
I'd like you to make an intimidate check.
15.
All right. The creature shrinks away from you. Paxton, I'm going to let you make an extra attempt to break this grapple.
Okay. Would be a 13.
You are still grappled. Paxton, now it is your turn, so you can take your regular attempt to break your grapple now if you want to.
Okay, I'm gonna try one more time before I just start punching it.
Okay.
That's a 9.
It's rolling pretty badly, but you are managing to outdo it.
Yeah.
You are still grappled, and so it attempts to digest you, and it does 2 points of damage this turn. It is
How
slowly,
are you looking?
What's that?
I asked how he's looking.
It's working its way up to his knees now, and it hurts quite a lot. It's working on you.
You hear Paxton yell, I'm okay, I think.
I'll go, let Athelflaed go next. What do you want to try again?
I'm just gonna keep trying to intimidate.
Okay.
And
It's right next to the boat. I mean, you could hit it if you wanted.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to smack it with the burning
All right.
stick without hitting the water to put out the fire.
Of course. Make an attack roll.
Ooh, 5.
No.
Okay.
No. Paxton, what do you want to do?
Do I see any vulnerable spots on this thing, like an exposed eye or...
It doesn't have any eyes or anything. It's kind of similar to the blob you guys fought before, but this one is not a shapeless blob. It's an oval-shaped creature.
If I stick my hand down into its orifice and feel around, do I feel any organs or anything?
You could try. So you try that. There are some lumps and shapes in there, but they're large. You don't feel like, oh, here's a little bitty heart I could rip out or something. There's some large lumps.
Huh. So nothing I can get my hands around and pull?
No, this thing's much bigger than you.
Can I try to do an unarmed strike against those fleshy internal lumps?
Sure.
All right. So I believe an unarmed strike is my strength plus my proficiency for the attack roll, so +4.
Sure.
15.
That hits. All right, you hit it. Roll your damage.
All right.
1d4, I believe.
1d4 plus
Plus your
strength.
strength.
Yeah.
5 damage.
All right, you have struck the creature, and it convulses a little bit, but continues to digest you. You're probably not the first thing that it's tried to digest that tried to fight back. All right, and now we're on to its turn. This time, it starts to suck you in further, and you take 6 points of damage.
Ooh. I'm no longer looking so good.
And it is Athelflaed's turn.
Can I go ahead and strike at it?
Yep.
From my advantage? Okay. I'll go ahead and
All right,
roll.
roll to hit.
14.
That is a hit. This is just a club, basically. I think that's 1d6, right?
26.
Yeah, and you're going to do 1d6 plus 1d6 fire damage. So roll 2d6.
I have a 6 and a 4.
All right. How much damage is that total then? Paxton, you did 5?
Yeah.
So that's a total of 15 points of damage. All right. Paxton, I would like you to make an attempt to break the grapple with advantage.
Okay.
That's a good face.
That's a 21.
This time, the creature lets go of you, and you are able to escape those hairs and grab onto the side of the boat.
Finally.
Athelflaed helps you into the boat, I assume. Make an easy strength check to climb in.
Okay.
Oh no.
5.
You did it.
Okay, good.
You climb into the boat, and now what are you going to do?
I'm very wary of trying to climb up that rope again on my own, and I see that this person who just saved my life, who I don't know who they are, but they appear to have a rope tied to them. So I'm wondering if maybe she can be pulled up from the rope and we can maybe climb up all together.
Sure.
That gives us any kind of bonus.
Or you could have you could have her climb back up, and they could pull you up. That would also work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Athelflaed, do you want to climb up then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I need 3 athletics checks, and I'm going to. Well, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying athletics is 0, so I'm just pretty much rolling.
Yeah, you're just pretty much rolling.
Okay. First roll is 5.
Okay, you're having a hard time getting started too.
She does have a rope tied to her.
Oh,
Does she have any
yeah.
advantage?
Yeah.
That's true. And are you holding on to the other end of the rope? Yeah, that is, can you help her?
I am still.
Okay,
I
great.
still have a
So
rope.
it's
okay.
you have advantage then climbing. So roll again for that first check.
7.
Okay. Well, you're not able to get started yet, but you can keep trying. So try again.
20.
All right. So you managed to make it that time. Tara braces her back and pulls hard, and you climb, and you're able to get about halfway up. Make one more check.
All right. 16.
All right. You make it the rest of the way up. So you're both up there now. And Paxton, you want to try tying a rope again? You'll lower the rope back down. And
Yeah, you
I
can
can
lower
throw my
the rope.
backpack down to you too if you want to use spikes.
If you can throw me the rope, I can maybe wrap it around my hand or something like that to kind of give me a little bit of an extra tug.
All right. And she has her equipment she can loan you too.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead and make your climbing checks with advantage.
Okay. So first check is 20.
All right, that was an excellent climb. This time, again, you made it about halfway up.
All right, second check is 12.
All right, that's good enough. You reach the top. The top of the island must once have been a beautiful place. There is a large stone temple or monastery with elaborate stonework, as well as some related buildings. And there is an impressive fountain in the courtyard in front of the main entrance of the main building, although the fountain no longer functions. A large and well-tended garden with a variety of vegetables stretches away into a field east of the buildings. The buildings themselves are beginning to fall into decay, with wooden roofs showing signs of repeated shoddy patching that won't last much longer. One wall of the monastery is covered in graffiti that has been carved into the stone. And is there anything you guys would like to do?
What's the graffiti say?
Oh, there's a bunch of it. Most of it says something like, "Thank the gods, I am healed." Something of that variety. Some of it says things like, "The only thing I gained out of this trip is a lighter wallet," or "This is a ripoff," or something like that. Some of them say something like, "Praise to the monks of the Pilgrim's Island." And the last, the biggest one, someone has really taken some time to carve one of them, and it says, "Do not try to break through the walls. That would destroy your world and everyone in it. So says Foresight." And we will cut back to Finn.
Finn is still taking notes.
Oh, okay, great.
It said praise
I'll
to
read
who?
that again. It said, you want me to read those again?
Just the last two. Praise to who?
Praise to the monks of Pilgrim's Island. And then the last one says, "Do not try to break through the walls. That would destroy your world and everyone in it. So says Foresight."
That will just destroy your world and everyone in it.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we've heard of Foresight before. Can I do like a history check to see if I know anything about
Yes,
Foresight?
do a history check. Go ahead and roll 20.
I got a 15.
Yeah, so you remember a bit. You remember, first of all, you remember that the note that you found on the first gray blob, the hairless one, that you fought, there was a scroll in it that had a quote about Foresight on it. And you also know that there used to be a cult of people who believed that Foresight was a god, a named god, a god that, you could actually identify as an individual. But that cult died out over time, and there are no longer any cultists of that religious affiliation. As far as you know, it was a god and not a physical person.
Okay.
And named gods are really rare in this world, right?
That's right. In fact, this is the only one that anyone's ever heard of. And no other gods have been identified as individuals with a name. And so let's cut back to Finn.
Okay.
You're still talking to Atolf, and he's telling you about Mun, right?
Okay.
Because he told you that you should go visit Mun. Mun is a
Mun the Mighty?
Hmm?
Is that Mun the Mighty that you mentioned of?
Some call him Mun the Mighty, but more recently people have started calling him Mun the Immortal. Mun is a wizard with a tower 2 days north of Zabafeld. He is very old and very powerful, and he has studied the God's River more than anyone else. He is also not to be trusted. Mun may have his own agenda, and he will not help you for free. If he asks you to stick your nose where it does not belong, you may not like the consequences. Atolf tilts his head and stands up abruptly. He walks to the door and says, "I'll be back."
Wait! Last thing.
"One moment, I'll be right back." And he just ignores you and walks out the door. And you hear the outer tower door open, which is nearby, and then close, and then he comes back. "What was the last thing you wanted?"
Well, now I want two. You said that you wanted to make sure that we didn't go into trouble or did not go looking for things that we shouldn't be looking for. So that you will leave us alone, where should we not go?
My suggestion is you go talk to Mun. After that, you will have to use your discretion.
Okay, so there's nowhere that we should avoid or nowhere that we should stay out of to make sure that we stay out of your hair?
I cannot tell you.
Okay, and will we keep seeing you around? Will you keep an eye on us? Or are we clear now that we are no threat to whatever you're trying to hold secret?
I am not worried about you now. You are free to go where you like, unless you go to the wrong place. And I cannot tell you where that is. It is very frustrating.
Well, hopefully I will not see you again then, Atolf.
One more thing. The wind is picking up outside, and some dark clouds are forming. If I were you, I would make sure I had some fire spells prepared while there is still time. Perhaps it is nothing. I hope your friends return soon. And Atolf leaves the library and closes the door quietly behind him.
Well, that was weird, I say to myself. Okay, as I'm looking through my notes, I just want to quickly scribble down the rest of whatever spell I was learning.
Okay.
Overlook any other notes that I've taken throughout the day to make sure that I've spent enough time learning my new spells.
Okay. Are you going to change your spell preparation at all? He suggested you choose some fire-related spells. Are you following him up on that?
Let me go ahead and check how many spells I can have ready. 2 ready spells equal my wizard level plus my int mod. That's 4 times 2 plus 2. That's 6. Yeah, so I'm not going to prepare, but is my Unseen Servant still active?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to keep that going. I'm going to have Burning Hands and Thunder Wave ready. I'm also going to have Magic Missile, Mage Armor, Detect Magic, and Grease. And before I head out of the library, I'm going to spend some time and use my Find Familiar ritual.
Ah.
Yeah, to go ahead and create a small owl.
Ah, all right. So you have an owl as your familiar. So when that spell is cast, does that bring an owl to you, or does one just actually appear there?
It takes a while, consumes some materials which I have, including 10 gold.
Okay.
And then she stays with me indefinitely. There is no concentration need for it.
Right.
But whenever it dies or I want to change to another form of familiar, then it's going to, I need to recast the spell.
I see. All right. So you now have an owl familiar. Does it have a name?
Not as of yet.
Okay.
While I'm in the library, after I get my books together, considering his words and just deciding to take it as a warning, I get up, start heading out the door with my floating backpack following me, and I head outside, look at the clouds, and decide to start looking for where my companions are.
Okay. It is indeed getting stormy. There you can see it looks like storm clouds brewing to the west, and the wind is increasing. And there are, looks like there are some people running around organizing something. People are talking about preparing for something. You're not sure what they're doing. But
Tara, did you tell me where you were going?
Oh yes, you knew where they were heading to the lake.
I head towards the lake just so that I can find them.
Okay, we'll cut back to Tara and Paxton and Athelflaed. So you are on top of this island. Do you want to look around, or do you want to just leave? What's the plan?
I want to start by thanking them both profusely for helping me get up the ladder. That was a bit embarrassing, reminding me a bit of the oil incident. Let's just pretend that didn't happen whenever you tell this story to other people, right?
So,
no problem.
Paxton, you're down to 4 hit points if I have this right. Do you want to do anything about that?
Yes. Let's see. I want to cast Cure Wounds on myself.
All right.
And no one else is hurt, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's going to be... Where is my D8?
Why don't you just rest, use some hit dice, and save the spell?
Do we have enough time for a short rest?
Sure. You have an hour. It's no problem.
All right. So this is a question I have.
It's about midday now. Sorry.
I'm not totally clear on how spending hit dice during a short rest works.
You just choose how many you want to spend. You have as many hit dice as you have levels. Mm-hmm. So if you want to, you could spend 1 or 2 hit dice. So you're a cleric. You roll 1d8 for hit dice. So you could roll 2d8 and recover as many as that in hit points.
I'm going to spend a d8, and then I'm going to see how close that brings me to my max.
Okay.
So
that's fine.
The first one was just 2, which gets me back to 6. So I'm going to spend another. And that's 6, so now I'm up to 12. So...
Good. You're in much better shape now.
Definitely.
So while he's resting, Athelflaed, is this the Pilgrims Island?
It's the monastery. It's a monk order on the that has the healing waters of the Broken River. Many people used to come far and wide before the broken river broke, and that's the writing you see on the wall. That's how they thanked us and thanked the gods. And who might you be?
So you were a monk here?
I was back in the day. Now it's just me. Now that brother Dunstan and brother Ned are gone.
What happened to them?
Well, unfortunately, they passed away. When I came here, originally I came here from Denton. I'm a farmer's daughter, and I was looking for healing waters for my own family and maybe some treasure too. Being that I had heard that this place was closed for several decades, so I grabbed a boat and rowed over, and unfortunately I got here, and well, fortunately initially I saw that I wasn't alone, and I looked around and I saw 2 monks still here, which I knew later to be brother Dunstan and brother Ned, and unfortunately one of their assistants took my boat that you brought here to this island, by the way, and I was left here stranded. But they taught me their ways, and thank the gods for everything we're given. And I've been here for a couple of years now, and been by myself for the better part of 2 years, so going on a year and a half. So haven't had anyone to talk to, so I'm just so thankful that you guys are here, and of course that you made it. And I'm sorry about the hairy blobs. They're pretty dangerous. I unfortunately realized myself.
When did they show up?
Well, they've been here when I paddled up. I didn't see too many of them, but when every chance I get, I tried to go back out and make boats with makeshift wood around here, and always found myself rushing back to shore just to save my own life and make sure they didn't eat me. I have no idea what they are.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we can take you back with us in your boat, of course, and maybe we want to bring a lot of fire, though.
Yeah, definitely, and I don't have a lot. I've been doing some gardening, and with the river broken, I really can't keep much crops, but I definitely am willing to share whatever I have with you guys, especially your friend there. He looks pretty shooken up, and he could probably use some rest and some food and supplies.
That would be much appreciated.
You do have some cooking oil.
Oh, we do. Okay.
Right, you have a decent amount of cooking oil that you've been stocking up, hoping you could somehow use it to get back to shore.
Yep.
That you extracted from some plants. But aside from that, you don't have a boat, but they have a boat, and you have cooking oil.
Yep.
Anyways, that's a possible way that you had thought of as a way to get back to shore.
Is the boat big enough for all 3 of us? Mm-hmm. Okay,
yep.
perfect.
Yep,
Okay.
it'll hold all 3 of you.
All right.
You're all on the island, and I guess you can rest a bit if you want, look around some. There are some interesting buildings here. The architecture is interesting. This was all really nice at some point in the past, although it's fallen down significantly now. The main monastery building, where the monks' cells are, has some nice open areas that are comfortable to rest in. The roof is still sufficiently intact that if it rains, you won't get rained on. But you do notice that there are storm clouds forming, and the wind is picking up as well. And if you're going to get to land off the island soon, you'll probably want to do that sooner rather than later. Having said that, are you going to look around, or are you planning to get straight off the island, or what's the plan?
Is the storm typical weather pattern?
No.
Okay.
That's unusual. You do get storms every once in a while, but a storm like this is not something you see often.
Okay.
Not unheard of, but not common either.
So the main thing would be, I definitely want to invite my new friends over for shelter, because I'm not sure what's going on with this unfamiliar weather pattern. Right. So I tell them.
Okay.
Does the boat seem secure, like it will stay where it is through bad weather?
It is bouncing around a bit. It's hard to know what will happen if the weather picks up if it gets really rough. Well, actually, you can see there are creatures sort of moving around it now, bumping against it. It's too big for them to do anything with, but they're bumping it as well.
Maybe we should just get off this island. Is there anything that you would want to bring with you?
She's got her stuff packed.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I have some torches, if we can try and light them here and carry them down, as many as we can, really, just in case those guys get close to the boat. We can try and fear them off.
And do I have any cloth possibly to to soak in cooking oil?
You have
to
a
tie to
little bit.
stick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you've used up most of your cloth over time to try to repair your clothing and such, but you have some, yes.
Okay, so I'll want to bring some cloth, tie it to the top of the stick, maybe soak it in
Yep,
cooking
you've got a
oil
torch. Yep.
to last
Yep.
the
Good
track
idea.
back.
Anything else you want to do on the island before you leave your home for the last couple years? You as you're gathering your things and getting your supplies, you pass, Dunstan and Ned's graves where you buried them. The buildings that you visited, you've got the monastery. There are some barracks for there's housing for visitors, for pilgrims. There's your garden that you've tended for so long. There's the observer room that you never were able to get into. There's all this stuff around here, but you've been looking at it for years. Maybe it's not all that interesting to you.
Are there any books anywhere on this island that might be of value?
They do have some books, but there's a lot on herbalism and medicine. The monks here are mostly engaged in healing people, so that's what most of the books focus on. What's that?
Can I check out the fountain?
Oh, sure. So the fountain is this doesn't depict any particular living creature. It's just a sort of an abstract shape, and it's made of stone. You can see that there is water in it, and the water is fairly clear, but it's no longer there's no longer water squirting out of the top of it. And it was at some time it probably was pretty impressive.
I'd like to gather up any of the books on medicine and healing and that kind of stuff, as well as anything that might have to do with the God's River.
Now, I will mention that as you're walking through the building, you do pass this room. There's a large wooden door, looks carefully sealed, and the big label above the door, and there's a handle in the middle of the door, and the label above the door says "Observers Only." It doesn't show any sign of having been opened any time recently, but this is actually near their library.
I try to open that door.
Oh, okay. All right, you grab the handle. I'd like you to make a Constitution check.
12.
Okay. Paxton, you get a splitting headache and fall flat on your back, and you are unconscious.